Now, for the next session, we're supposed to introduce the AGREEN platform, a platform that was developed and available online under the project. The idea of the platform is to serve as a common environment, let's call it online environment, where information can be exchanged, files will be uploaded and are already uploaded. And so to say, a community is formed. And there is also a forum where this community can communicate. The idea is also to have a common ground for cooperation so people can exchange contacts, ideas, even future projects, initiatives if they decide to. The main functionalities of the platform are listed here, but I believe it will be better if I open it online, like a web page. Maybe I should mention here that we have a couple of different environments. Let's call it different websites linked to each other, but according to the preferences of the program, we needed to separate the project website from the AGREEN platform and from the interactive map. I will show them all. Что-то искам да го заради. Що? Това ми е презентацията. Сега ще дойде. Entire screen. Не, това са презентациите. Трябва да е Firefox. Дай да го правя. As you may realize, I'm not a technical person, so I'm waiting for the others to. It's a little bit more complicated when you have this online connection. Става ли вече? Добре. Добре. А я така? Там не са... Добре. So, as I said, we have separated the project website from the project internet platform. This was one of the requirements of the financing program. It's not up to us, but still we provided enough links in between the two environments, so they are connected. By the way, if you feel cold at some point, just let us know so we close the window. I feel it here. So this is the project website, which is AGREEN Project EU. On the project website, we basically publish information about the project as initiative itself. It has, of course, the basic sections telling about the project, then what I was explaining about the climate smart agriculture, the specific objectives, pretty much everything that I already shared with you, it's accommodated within the project website. In addition, on the project website, we publish the latest news. These are events or other happenings that are that appear or happen during the project, like organized events, sessions, etc., etc. These are the news. We have different sections for the events, where after each event, we publish information about the particular event. And here we attach the agenda, the presentations, the pictures. So if you have missed an event or something, you can find the materials uploaded under the event section in the particular events. I missed to mention that the project website works in all partner languages and English. Of course, English is our common working language, and then you have it in Bulgarian, Greek, Turkish, Romanian, Armenian, and Georgian. We totally recommend when you choose a language version, first to switch the language and then to go to the sections that you are interested in, because some materials are not available in all languages, of course. So from home screen, first switch the language and then go to the particular section. Another section is our blog section where we publish articles, so to say. Here we post texts related to events outside of the projects, events organized by the partners, but outside a green project, or also interesting practices or initiatives shared by our partners. For example, Armenian partners provided article about one agricultural association, Organic Armenia. And when you find the article, you can read how they are dealing with the climate smart agricultural practices, some shared news from them, etc., etc. All of this is in the blog section. It's even more, how to say, popular than the news section, because it's the content is very variable there. Of course, the contact form and this is the second menu is the main one, a green project, sharing about the program. This is the boring part because we're obliged to inform you about the Black Sea Basin program. And then the target groups, the partners. This one is very beautiful, by the way. I'm very proud of it. I would like to share this one because it's important for you to know how to find any of our partners. These are the partners. This is us, basically Bulgarians, then Ovidius University, the Kirdak Nemakamal, Elkana, the association from Georgia, iCare, and Anatoliki. When you click on the read more button, you go to the page of the particular partner with beautiful pictures. And here are the contacts. So when you as multipliers need any of the partners in your country, go for that section. And also you can enjoy the views. I go back to the menu, a green project, because this is the essence. I told you about this one. And from here, goals and results page. Here we publish all that we have already achieved. Of course, we start with the specific objectives because we need to, and then here are all the project outputs. Each output is outsourced in a separate web page, like page under this website, or leads to the platform. I will maybe click them one by one to give you an impression what you can find. This one, the colorful one, is on purpose made more attractive because it leads to the AGREEN Platform community section, where again you can find some information about the community of practice. I believe you have heard of this approach or not. Community of practice. It's I have it in the presentation. I will be back to it to explain what does it mean, because people often mislead the meaning behind the term community of practice. And then the activities implemented within the community. And here are links to the different contact points of the communities in the different countries. What is important here? It's important that in these contact points, oops, I pressed something. In addition to the, click again, okay. In addition to the contacts of the partner, like institution, you can find also the contacts of the different experts who worked under this project, like mine, our project coordinator, Chrissy, is community expert, the authors of the different chapters of the different outputs, the authors of the crop models. I mean, you can contact them directly according to your interests. That's why this community is built, and it will be enlarged, of course. Okay, I will go back to this when we switch to the platform. Another output is the regional brand and branding strategy. I mentioned this already. Valentina mentioned this already. Here you can find the blueprint that we developed for the branding strategy. The idea of the branding strategy is to achieve a common recognizable brand for all the products, agricultural products originating in the Black Sea Basin, produced in our countries, and produced by using climate smart agricultural practices. For this, we have developed this blueprint as a document. You can download the document. Unfortunately, this document is available only in English, but I believe most of you can be able to understand and then transfer this knowledge as resume to the local communities. In addition, here we have published all the regional reports developed by all partners in the form of feasibility studies for our countries and one common report for the Black Sea Basin. The idea here was that each partner studied the perception and the attitude of the consumers in their country. We made our findings and conclusions. For example, Bulgarians do not like when on the label of a food product there is red color. It makes kind of not pleasant association. And if we want them to recognize climate smart agricultural products, we need to go in the green, yellow, colorful scheme, let's say. In addition, there were also conclusions according to the age, sex of the consumers and what they prefer, how they will better recognize and accept such type of products when they're branded. Based on all these conclusions, we developed the strategy. It's quite an interesting document, especially if you are a little bit involved in marketing segment. It will be interesting to be read. Then I go back to the goals and results section, and we go to climate smart crop models. These are the 6 models that I mentioned: okra and triticale in Bulgaria, walnuts and sunflower in Turkey, and syntropic agriculture and winter wheat in Georgia. Before planting the seeds or start taking care of the trees, our research experts developed crop models in terms of reports with procedure. What we should exactly do. You should plant like this, you should water like this, you should do that and that and that. All the procedures are described in details in these crop models. The crop models, it's a funny again situation because they were developed in English, but translation we have only in the national languages of the partners who tested the crop models, which means that Bulgarian models, we have English and Bulgarian, Turkish models we have English and Turkish, the same for Georgians. Unfortunately, for the other partners, these are not accessible in the national languages, only in English. Still, the prescribed procedures here were followed as they were written. And then finally, when we got the results, we also add the report with the results. As I said, for example, one of our experiments was not successful, but we share the results so the others know and not do it, do not lose their time and money. So from here, behind each of these covers, you can, above each of the covers, you can download the respective crop model, 6 of them. Then we go to the next one, the interactive map. I leave these tabs opened on purpose because the map and the community and some of the parts are already hosted in the platform. And so I don't need to explain the platform separately. The interactive map is, again, online-based tool. The research here was very interesting because we sent our local experts to dig in our regions and to find out logistic centers. This was the official form that we were searching for. Logistic centers, or let's say big warehouses or other places, physical places, where the consumers can find our types of products, climate smart agricultural products, and where the producers can sell. The idea of the map is to link producers among themselves, producers from the different countries on the one side. For example, I produce tomatoes in a village nearby. I want to sell in Romania, and I want to say in a special market or a special place or logistics center where my products will be recognized as climate smart, which not always means green and organic, but it's close enough. I don't want to sell in Kaufland, because the reputation is not good. I want to sell to farmer markets. I want to sell to markets where it's recognizable that I sell good products, quality products. In this connection, we developed the map. So we have these producers oriented where to find selling points, let's call it, in the other countries, not only in my country, but in the other partner countries. On the other hand, we have the consumer. I want to buy pure tomatoes, okay? Organic, nice tomatoes. I'm not supposed to make a research through all the internet and to know all the shops, of course, but entering the map, I can see the nearest points that are selling the products I'm interested in, and I can go there. Or if they are not physical places, I can order also online, because we're not always talking about tomatoes. Selling tomatoes, it's not impossible by courier or post, but it's not a good choice. But other products, let's say rice or wheat even, or flour. So that's why we created this map, to be able to connect consumer to consumer, consumer to trader, trader to trader, trader to producer, etc., etc. Another option would be for the producer themselves to find producers nearby, to unite together and to be able to export to the other countries, because in order to export your goods, you need particular quantity, like minimum quantity, in order to be able to sell outside of the country. No one would accept like 10 or 20 kilos of tomatoes to be exported. It makes no use because it's too expensive. That's why the last link we are searching for is producer to producer. If I grow up tomatoes, I understand, I realize that you also do so, you do so, we unite and we can export together the minimum quantity needed for the external market. So we have collected at least 10 local logistics centers per countries. Some countries provided more, like 16, for example. We have put them physically on an interactive map. I did it again. And by opening the map, here is, for example, the green contact point. You can search, it's in Greek, I'm not sure. Yeah. You can see the points, like physical addresses, and then background and details for each of these more than 70 points for all the 6 countries. You have the contacts, you have the working hour and dates, and then we also gathered information about accessibility. If I'm producer, I want to sell there. There is a special section that informs me what are the requirements for me. For example, I can sell tomatoes if I provide more than 1,000 kilos. That's why we have special sections, and also the direct contacts to the selling point, terms of access, productions offered. These are the types that I can sell or buy from this point. And the same for the consumer. I go to the map, I may search by, let's say, region. I may search by type of products, for example, tea, and see where in the Black Sea Basin I can find organic tea, etc., etc. It's very colorful and interactive application. This is the map. I close this now because there were too many opened already. Here, this button actually leads to the platform to the second virtual environment, which is already hosting the community. I showed you the community, the map, and some other functions or features. These sections are not fully ready, to be honest. The e-learning one is supposed to accommodate this training, but the guidebook, which we developed, will not be as a book or PDF file to read, presented like PowerPoint slides with the most important highlights. And at the end of each module, there will be tests to check if our trainees have understood what they have learned so far. It's not so complicated actually, because I had the opportunity to go through the tests. And before that, I had the opportunity to read the guidebook. I managed like 85% success without learning agriculture ever in my life. So it's not so complicated. The more complicated part of the assessment of the module would be not the test itself, but the assignments that your trainers will give to you, because the assessment here is formed in two different modes. One is to go through the test to check if you have read the materials, you have learned what is written there. But the second one is to make a practical assignment. Each module, except for the first one, because the first one is introducing the concept, so there is no practical application or assignment for this one. But each of the modules, I believe you will be explained by the trainers later. At the end, they will give you assignment, like develop the business plan, or make a case study, or make research and draw some report paper. The idea is to get you physically involved and to check that you can apply the knowledge already received by reading the guidebook into the practice. And this is the most complicated part, if you ask me, from the assessment. Upon successful completion of the course, of course, you'll be able to receive a certificate issued by the partner who engaged you in the training. All partners have all the training materials. They will be translated. They are still not available. We have them only in English for now, but they will be translated in our languages. So you'll be able to read only in your language. The test will be in your language. The assignment will be in your language. And the teacher or trainer who will organize the course for you will test you in your own language. That's the idea. So much for the platform. I would like now to go back to the course. Just to mention a few more things, that we have 3 major events in this project, international business conferences. 2 of them we already implemented. One was July 2021, if I'm not mistaken, in Armenia. It was the first one, the one for the regional branding. You can find the reports, presentations, everything in this section. The second one is upcoming. It's the final one that will be in Bulgaria next year. And the third one we also implemented June this year in Greece. Again, you can find presentations, finding reports, everything uploaded here. I close this one now, and I would like to go back to the presentation. Краси, може би ще имам нужда от помощ, за да шернем наново екраните, защото сега ще обяснявам за курса. To dig a little bit more in the training course, to explain the curriculum, the learning objectives, etc.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
About the map. I'm Tatavik from Armenia.
Okay.
I would like to know, in the section of map, are there listed the shops where the farmers can sell the climate smart agricultural products, or?
Not exactly shops, more like logistic centers, like warehouses or other forms of logistic centers. Sometimes it could be a farmer market when you can go directly. In some countries like Bulgaria, for example, we could not find in our regions, because I told you that only 2 regions east of Bulgaria are included in the program. So we did this research only these regions. There are some warehouses in Sofia, let's say, or national, but in our region, there is no specialized logistic centers for agricultural products that are produced in climate smart way. That's why we found alternatives like warehouses or farmer markets, and we identified such type of facilities, and we introduced them in the maps. But local small shops in some countries, yes, they are. In other countries where they are big warehouses or logistic centers, they have not dict right to the small shops. Of course, they can be added if the partner decide. They can add.
And
them.
like who gives the status that like the products are agricultural, climate smart agricultural products? Like who gives that status that I can?
Usually, but you will need a microphone, Chrissy. Ще подариш ли на Jenny микрофона? Chrissy will give it to you. Jenny would like from Greece would like to add to your question.
First of all, in the case of Greece, we also included some shops where the farmer can go directly, or the shops organized to pick up the products from the farm. But this is not useful in the case other countries want to sell their farming products. Also, there are some shops that support climate pro products. So they check the farmer in certain ways, whether they use good practices. And this is how they say, we can say that they are some kind of climate smart, the products. But there is no specific signature or stamp to satisfy this criteria. But actually, these products are between the organic products and actually the climate smart agriculture products.
It's pretty much the same with us.
Yes, exactly. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you.
In some countries, for example, like Romania, if I remember correct, they managed to identify very big warehouses that are dedicated to such type of products where the house itself, the warehouse itself, checks the products they sell or check the farmers that are supplying. So we have not developed, how to say, a list of requirements or any standards. What is exactly considered to be climate smart products? We rely on the quality and control applied by the logistic centers themselves.
Or the honesty of the farmer.
Yes, also. There is another replica from the room. Yes, please.
If we want to...
Yeah, it's okay. We're here. It's open.
If we want to have a common brand for this product, shouldn't there be a uniform certification of the requirements that they fill?
Yes. Yeah, actually, we discussed this issue since the very beginning of the project. Valentina is smiling here, and we had quite a debate even between us, by the way, because she was suggesting the same, that we should develop some kind of standards to be applied to the producers in order to give them the brands at the end. Yeah, exactly. The thing is that we are not a certifying authority. I mean, we don't have the authority to certify anything as a consortium, as a project consortium. Neither each of us as partner has the authority to certify in his country. No, this is usually set in the hands of the government or local authorities or other type of governmental structure like control, agri-food chain control institute or something. We're not in position, so to say, to set standards and to follow if we don't have the capacity as partners to follow if the standards are kept. This is what we made. Actually, this is what we made. We made a blueprint, like a plan for branding strategy that was presented to the particular authorities in the particular countries. By the way, the authorities are even different type. For example, with us, it's one type of ministry. In your country, it's different ministry. So we provided like policy recommendations for these authorities, but the decision if they will unite and decide to apply together, if they will implement what we suggested by including it in the national regulation, it's up to them. We cannot, how to say, influence this process. We can suggest. What we found out from the feasibility study is that there is a demand. We found out also that climate smart agriculture product is not recognizable right now. Organic is recognizable. People do have a kind of impression what it is. Green, if you say it's recognizable. Eco, in some countries, if you say, people often mix up. They cannot make difference between these terms. And climate smart agriculture for them is totally unknown and new term. So first step in our strategy, what we suggest is to introduce the term, to explain to the people what is climate smart agriculture. It's not exactly green. It's not organic. It's something different. It cares for the local people, for their income, which is sustainability. It's not organic, right? Organic products usually are climate smart produced, but climate smart is not only organic. It's a different term with different meaning, different value behind the term. That's why the first step would be to explain to the people what is climate smart, because they don't understand it, they don't recognize it. And I would not buy something that I don't understand, right? It was a very deep research, thanks to the team of researchers. Really, they gave very nice suggestions. Also, we have a suggestion in the blueprint for graphical logo brands, for the products, etc. But from this point on, we are not in position to somehow influence the decision of the authorities, because it's not even one authority, it's 6 countries. Can you imagine these ministries, etc.? I remember from the conference in Armenia, because this conference for presenting the brand was in Armenia, that representatives of the ministry there were presenting, and they totally, I believe they liked the idea, but to work cross-border with the other authorities, it requires a higher networking efforts, let's call it. They can apply with another project. You know that the new program is under public consultation right now. Even on Thursday, there will be informational day in Bulgaria, and there are such days in Greece, in Romania, this week, I believe. They go around. They were last week, they were in Greece, by the way. The Black Sea Basin program, the managing authority, which is now settled in Romania, but it's for all the countries. They go through the countries, they present the new program for the next program period and the priorities. And they ask the local people what the local people considered as priority to be included in the program. And I'm not sure where they have gone so far, but I know that they are presenting the program and collecting suggestions from the locals. If the next programming period of this program allows also, like this one, for public authorities to apply, because now they can apply. This means that the ministries from all these countries, they can go together, write down a proposal, apply with it, and if it's financed, they will kind of continue our project. But as I said, we're not in position to force them. Somehow we can suggest to do so. This is it. Okay. Other questions at this stage, ladies, from Armenia, because we don't see you actually. We see the presentation on the screen. Do you have other questions? And gentlemen, I'm not sure if they're only ladies.
Yes,
Not for now.
they are gentlemen. Yes.
They are gentlemen. Okay, sorry. So I now go back to explain a little bit more about the course itself, because this is the focus of of the training in Dobrich. This is the web page. We saw it, the platform map. We have quite a nice Facebook page, by the way, which, thanks to Anna from the Armenian team, managed to get like 500 likes in one day. This lady is a wizard. If you need social media promoter, this one is amazing. It's quite popular right now, the Facebook page, and we're very proud of it. The crop models, I showed you already, the map again. In addition to the Facebook page, we have a Facebook group that we highly recommend you to join. It's open group, not so this private type of group, so everybody pretty much can join. But in this group, we post news, events, interesting things that we find out across our countries. For example, if there is a fair, agricultural fair for innovative technologies in Dobrich, we share it here. And if you are a member, you will learn what is going on in your country. We share information in all languages like English, Bulgarian, Turkish. Each partner provides in his language. So you will be reading multiple languages at the same time, but there will be also some publications in your language. In the community, you can also ask directly questions to other members of the community. If they want to reply, they will. They usually do. Now, the community of practice. I mentioned this community of practice. I told you that it has contact points at each partner organization, of course. But what is exactly the community of practice? It's a group of founded, settled first by the researchers that worked in this project, like Professor Fatih, like Valentina, like Jenny, like everybody who worked, who developed crop model, who developed curriculum, everybody who worked on the project as experts, as researchers. Some of them also academic staff, but not all of them. Some of them practitioners, people actually working on the field. And from the other side, we try to join to this community the farmers, or at least branch organizations or other NGOs uniting farmers. But individual farmers also are pretty much welcome. The idea of the community is to have this, how to say, free flow of communication and talks among ourselves, mostly of it in English. If you want to know about other countries, you will have to. But also there are some forums and chats in the national language where you can ask a question. And this is the environment where we're expecting people to freely exchange knowledge. We have this feature, the Bulgarians or maybe the whole Balkans, to be kind of jealous for our own knowledge somehow. For example, when I realize something by testing 5 years, I put a lot of efforts, resources, I test, I fail. At the end, I find out a solution. But we're such type of people, kind of jealous. I don't want to share it with the others. It's kind of national feature or regional feature, and we're trying to break this habit, to teach people that they would share, because if I share, you will also share back. Another thing that will help me, that will save me efforts. And in this community, we try to build this environment of trust and mutual, mutual understanding, that if I share, you will share back. And to develop it as an environment where you can transfer knowledge without being afraid that someone will steal it and will sell it or whatever. The theoretical explanation of the term community of practice actually is a group of professionals who share common interest and expertise, and they developed different aspects of the climate smart agriculture. It's approach for learning. This is it. It's approach for mutual learning for adults usually, but not only. Okay, communities of practice is clear. Now to the course. our course. It's called Entrepreneurship for Climate Smart Agriculture in the Black Sea Basin, a long one. The idea here was to develop the training course, full training course, completed one, that can be taught in the different countries by the different partners. Because we have different, organization of the educational systems in our countries, also different legislation considering the education in our countries. Not in each country this course may be recognized or accredited as part of the official educational program. I give an example. For example, in Romania, our partners shared that they can offer the course even in the university as extracurriculum course, as long as it meets the requirements to the Romanian legislation. The University, Ovidius University of Constanța, will issue this, not maybe certificate separate. If you go only, it would facultative discipline. It will be included in their curriculum in the university, which means that at the end of your education, you will have it in your diploma, right? For example, in our country, we can offer it in university as extracurriculum course. That means it also will appear in your diploma, but it will be kind of elective course, not obligatory. Or we have another option in our country. We can introduce it into the vocational education and training system, where you can teach up to European Qualification Framework 5, and we can offer it like separate course, totally separate course for everybody, adults above 16, and we can issue separate certificate only for this course. You don't have to be a student in the university, you can be farmer. And what we are doing next month during the piloting session, we will actually invite farmers. We will enroll them in official course, and we will certify them with certificate for part of profession training, which is eligible nationally and at European level, like part of the vocational education system. And yeah, in the different countries, it will be in a different way. So if you want to go for the full course, like to have the certificate or diploma, you need to contact your partner to see what are the possibilities, the course to be delivered in your country. Then the second thing important is that the course is composed of 6 modules or chapters. When it's handbook, they're like chapters. When it's training course, we consider them like separate training units or modules. The modules were designed as suggestions, even in the application form, but then in the development phase, we a little bit adjusted them to the actual needs of the trainees, and we end up with these 6 modules. As I mentioned already, each partner developed 1 module. We distributed to the partners, but we still make it kind of collaboratively because we designed the curriculum together. We designed the content that will be included in each module together, and then started to develop the training content itself. Again, as I mentioned, the training content will appear in 2 different ways. One as a handbook, a written PDF document with 6 chapters to read through, and secondly, online for the e-learning section of the platform. Next is the agenda. That I presented in the beginning. Probably I had a different vision how to make the presentation, but I skipped this part. We already went through the agenda. Okay, here is the course distribution of the workloads across the training modules and across different types of delivery. The full course would be 30 hours. This is what we decided with the project. This is the total duration, 30 academic hours or training hours. Each module was assigned with 5 hours. Of course, as I told you, each partner will have in this training 1.5 hours only to present the module. But when delivered fully as a full course, each partner is supposed to spend 5 hours per module, or 30 hours in total. Then we, with the partners, also distributed these workloads across the different types of delivery, because we decided that there will be one part which is guided training, actually 4 hours for each module, guided training, which means that tutor, trainer, teacher will present you with the materials. Then there is 1 hour per module of self-learning, which is individual learning. And this can be implemented by you staying at home and doing homework or assignments that the teacher gave you, or by reading materials or making exercises on the platform. The last part is for assessment activities, which is not included in the total workload. It's left outside, and it's planned to be 1 hour. This is the time needed for the test. I told you that each module will end with a test. So you need to, it's closed test, like multiple choice test. It's not so complicated. But in addition to this test, when actually implementing the course, the teacher would give you assignment. And for this assignment, they will give you particular time. For example, you need to develop business plan, and you will need, you cannot do it in 1 hour. Of course, you will need more time. Then the teacher will define how much time they give you, or period they give you, for you to deliver the ready assignment and for them to evaluate it. They are also the partners in the last column who developed what, but we already mentioned this, if I'm not mistaken, so I will not go deep. Then the specific objectives, when we were designing the modules, we tried to put specific objectives for each separate module. This is done so when evaluating each module at the end, we will be able to evaluate separate knowledge, separate skills, separate competences independently. So if you go not for all the 6 modules, but let's say 3 of them, you will make the test for 3 of them, you will make assignment for 3, then we will be able to evidence that you have covered these 3 separately. So you will be issued with partial certificate or certificate just with these 3 modules. This principle, it's coming from the educational and also vocational education system, where the learning content is built not in curriculums, not curriculums, but study plan, like it was in the past, but in learning outcomes. I will try to explain. Back in the past, we have one training agenda, training plan, and it says economics, 20 hours, this, marketing, 20 hours, etc., etc. And no one cared what I will be able to do when I finish these 20 hours. Because I may study 20 hours and get nothing. You know, I can do nothing. Or I can go deeper, study by myself and do quite a lot more. That's why nowadays the systems and the curriculums are designed backwards. First, we estimate what we want the learner to be able to know at the end. This is the learning outcome. For example, she will be able to develop the business plan of how to manage sustainable farm, how to manage the finances, how to manage the marketing, how to manage the trade, etc., etc. What we want them to have in the basket at the end, and then we break this down and form kind of subjects or disciplines. In our case, these are the training modules. I'm explaining this to be clear why we have set these specific objectives. We said that we want to achieve this. At the end, then we break down to professional and transversal competences that our learners will gain at the end of the course. And then we went to the curriculum and to the training content. This was the way it worked. So with the curriculum, with the platform, I'm ready. Do we have more time now for questions? Because we promised, okay, we promised that we will give time for questions. Now it's time to ask. First, let's, Краси, как да изляза от тук? С escape, за да ги виждам. Ladies and gentlemen. Kam krasi, tame kam. Ladies and gentlemen from Armenia, if you have any questions, you will be the first to be able to ask. After this part, we go already to the training sessions. So this was the part for the project and for the course itself. Questions from the online participants? No. From the attending ones? No. Anything to share? Not to share. I know that it sounds very complicated, but since you are about to be involved in organizing the training, you will need to go for it. Of course, you will need to read the full guidebook, which is more than 100 pages. I'm sorry for that. By the way, it was supposed to be 60 pages, but yeah, according to the application form, it's still 60 pages. But we realized that in 10 pages per module, 6 modules, you can say nothing practically. They can learn nothing practically in 10 pages. So we, the partners, decided to give a little more from ourselves. So we are sure that there is at least the minimum needed for the people to get these learning outcomes. So you will test the guidebook, you will test the module, and you will let us know at the end of this training how you feel it, how have you learned what we were expecting for you to learn. If not, we will need to improve it. We will need to rework. Okay, if there are no questions, then